You're so happy.
Good evening. Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to our final book chat of the year. We are ending with a banger. We have Miss Dandridge Monroe here.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us. And as people start to join, I hope more people are joining because what we need to have this conversation. Let's start with a few icebreakers.
Okay.
You ready? Why you look nervous all of a sudden?
Just lay it on me. I'm
Okay.
ready for anything. This is me stealing myself. Like, hey.
Hold on. We're having trouble. Where are we not streaming to? Facebook? Uh-oh. That's her main source. It's not streaming to Facebook.
I'm not technical.
No, I'm texting my technical person now.
Sean, I'm sitting here. No, I see somebody from Facebook.
Okay. No, she texted me. She said we're good on YouTube. It says okay, she's just gonna post the YouTube link to Facebook. Okay. Hey Sean.
Sean is a mess. Don't follow her up.
Oh, oh, okay. Let's get this icebreaker started. For those who cannot join via Facebook, Cherie is going to post the YouTube link, and you can join there. For some odd reason, having a little technical difficulties, but we still going to get this party started. So, water, wine, coffee, or tea?
Coffee.
Caffeine.
I need the caffeine. Yes.
I can't tell.
I don't sleep. I need the caffeine. I'm about to get some more now.
Mm-hmm. With as many thoughts as you have, I could believe that.
Bad.
Morning or night?
Night.
I'm a night owl.
Unless it's like 3 a.m., then technically morning, but not if you haven't slept since the day before.
Yeah, that's not. I still consider that night.
That's night.
Night is not to me. Night is not until you wake up again.
Yes,
I mean, it's not until you wake up again. Digital or print?
Ooh. Digital.
Digital.
I like my all access. Like when I get a hair to read something, I want it right now.
Same. Standalone or series? Come on and lie. Come on and lie.
I'm gonna say series.
You don't have a choice.
I do have a choice. They are technically interconnected standalones. They're technically interconnected standalones. The only
interconnected standalones that didn't have standalones connected to the standalones with other people that is in the other part of the standalone.
Interconnected.
It started with the foolery early on.
Being honest, that's the technical meaning.
Okay. Write a standalone.
I tried that. It turned into a series.
Music or quiet?
Ooh, quiet. I got kids. Please, somebody hush. Please shut up, y'all. I love y'all, but hush.
How old are your kids?
I did not social distance during COVID. So 3, 8, and 10. Starting all the way back over. Like,
I didn't social distance with my husband during COVID. That's not what social distancing meant.
It should have.
Now we're done with the icebreakers. Hi, Alika. Thank you for joining us from YouTube.
Hey, Alika.
Can you share with us, for those who do not know, what influenced you to want to be an author?
There really wasn't an influence. I have written off and on for probably my whole life. I did not want to publish something until something very tragic happened. I almost died. I laugh about it now. It's not like haha funny. It's like, whoo, thank God he loves me, you know? But I almost died in 2018. I had a miscarriage that went terribly wrong. And literally I had been just tossing out this idea of doing something else because like I hated my job. I loved my job. I hated the people that I worked for. And I was like, I need to do something so that I don't feel like I have nothing for me. You know, you're a mom, you're somebody's wife, you're somebody's employee. There was nothing that helped me be weird old me. And so that year, I was like, I am going to publish this book. So while I was like in my room between like sobs and stressing out, I just started writing the first book, Fortunate. And I was like, okay. And
And that was the Orphan series.
that's the Orphan series, yes. It's all about found family. I don't know why that resonated so much with me at that time, but it just did. And I was like, this girl is going to get her happy ending, damn it.
I actually started with I actually started with the Orphan. No, I had the Orphan series downloaded, but I think I started with Red Roses and Regret.
Oh, because they fools.
Somebody suggested actually, and I'm gonna have to send him this clip. A non-reader friend suggested the Orphan series to me.
That's
and
wild.
My TBR was like so long at the time. He was like, somebody told me about this book and you have to read it for me because he doesn't read. And he's like, but this is your thing and you could just read it and you could just kind of summarize it to me in voice notes. And I was like, cool. And so
I'm giving you work.
and then you know what's funny with my friends, like I'm very clearly, people know we have the book club, people know that I do this, and they always suggesting books for me, and I'm like, no, that's not. No, I think the parameters. I don't get very specific with the parameters, but the parameters are very specific for me. I read independent Black literature, specifically urban romance, romance, contemporary romance, dark romance. Like it has to be Black, and there
all
are
like everything. Okay.
In parameters around what I actually read. But I'm the person that as soon as a book comes out, it's like, did you read that? And I'm like, that ain't
I get to it.
That's not what's going on over here. So so long story short, he suggested the series to me, and I was like, is it done? Because that's always my first question. Is it done? And he was like, I don't know. What does that mean? And I was like, it's not done. And he was like, it might be. And I was like, I'll look into it. And then it's like Red Roses and Regrets came out, and I was like, oh my God, I never got to that series. It was like a new series. So I'm not going to read that yet. I'm going to read this series first. So I read, and then I started reading the baseball series. I was like, wait, this is a lot of stuff going on at one time.
What's going on?
It's a lot going on.
I try not to. I really do. I know y'all are probably like, she lying. I'm not lying. I be trying to have stuff be nice and linear and like work out the way it's supposed to. These people in my head don't care at all.
I'll get there. Do you read as much as you write, or do you still read?
I do. It's I like to say it's my happy disassociation time. When I need to make sure I'm not cussing somebody out that I love and I actually want to like keep around. So that's why I say mobile versus anything. Sorry, my hair's on my nerves.
No, you're fine. We're just happy to have you.
It's that's my thing. Like if I need like a 5-minute, let me forget that this is my life, no matter how thankful I am for it, I'm gonna take my 5 minutes because Mama losing her stuff.
Mm-hmm. She got to put it back together.
Yeah.
Can you share with us 3 books that you feel like every sister girl should read?
3?
What's 3?
Books or authors? Dang, can I do 3 books? Indigo by Beverly Jenkins is far and away my all-time favorite book in this entire world. I'm a huge Zora Neale Hurston fan, so her collection of short stories.
Okay.
It's just the Gilded Six Bits specifically in her stories. And then who else? I don't know, man. I got too many faves.
Just one more. Just give us one more.
Alika, who should I say? Alika knows me better than just about anybody because we be talking about books. I don't know if I can do one. I can do one more author. That would be
CCJ. One more author.
CCJ, probably. Like if I had to have somebody that I was just going to read for the rest of my life, okay, just don't slide me her catalog.
Oh,
And
nice.
like, I'll be content. Ooh, that
And
was hard.
that's a thick catalog right there, and it's still going. That's a thick
Took a
catalog.
year off and back like she never left. I was like, girl, I am happy to see you,
Love
ma'am.
that. We love CCJ. Well, we got three authors in kinda, so we got at least three authors that we can offer to our sister girls. So, with knowing your reading style, tell us how you would describe your writing style.
Manic.
Oh, okay.
It is full on manic, and I have people who pop into my head at the most inopportune times of the day. I'll be sitting there doing the dishes, and I have to dry my hands on a dish towel or my apron, and I'm like, okay, is this what's going on? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And now I'm
You
dictating.
record, I was saying you record voice notes.
I'll
Okay.
have a voice note real quick, or I was I was telling Lika yesterday, I could not find this one scene that I had already like written out for Baltair. And I went through all of my voice notes like back until like 2016. I'm like, where is this? I know I wrote it. And so I spent half the night last night.
You say in 2016?
Mhm.
Oh my gosh.
I will write down a scene and not know who it's for. And
Wow.
then I'll just put a title in like, this is what's going on in this scene. I don't even know if y'all can
Are
see
you,
that. Probably can't.
are
And
you speaking the way that you're writing his
yes,
scenes?
so if it's like Baltair, I am speaking like I'm a Negro from Scotland, like
That,
accent the same way that they are. Hold on. Oh, that's got my address. I would show y'all that, but that's my address. Hold on. But can you see that?
oh yes.
Those are already Xerxes notes that I've started taking.
The richest of the rich, rich, rich. The
Oh,
what is he suburban prince? Like,
yeah.
what
Oh,
does he
yeah.
look like?
Look,
Prince.
that's all the way back to 2017.
That is wow. Prince
So
Aladdin in the flesh.
he is the most racially ambiguous person. If you look at him, he looks like an Arab man. But there are certain features about him that you like.
I am excited for his book.
It's,
But he's not next.
he
So,
is next after
it's
Baltair.
yeah, right. That Baltair's next.
It's Bao, and then I don't know. Well, it might be Bao, and then potentially
But
another
we're getting
parent.
ahead of ourselves. How has your writing changed over time? So you say now it's manic, but has it always been manic? When you started, it was a coping mechanism. It was therapeutic.
Yes, it very much was. And I think it still is a lot of the times. Now, I think that it is just far more, I guess, expansive from how it used to be because I was a drug rep. So I would drive and have voice notes that I would do, or I would bring my laptop and I would type in an office. And so I was really, really productive during the day because I don't know if you know about drug reps, but it's just like going to the doctor's office. You hurry up to wait.
I'm going to tell you where I work when we get off of this live. And then you will laugh when I tell you where I work, and you're going to laugh really, 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 really loud.
But you hurry up to wait. And so I got a lot done. And so now it is slightly more difficult, even though it doesn't seem that way, probably by the amount of books I've been able to put out recently. But it is very much like, okay, I gotta fit this in now. But before, I feel like it was slightly more structured. Whereas now, because I don't have the restrictions of having to think about a job, it is very much like a free for all in my brain. You know, like before it was just like, okay, we're on this highway or we're on this country road and it's just two lanes. And now it's like the Autobahn. Everybody's like, hey, this is what we're doing, but we're over here.
And you had some of these ideas for so long that now they're not just planted, they've grown, they're rooted.
Yes, because I tell everybody, Nick was not the first character that I created. He is the first book that I released under Dandridge Monroe, but he's not the first character I created. The first character in this entire universe was Adam Hardison, or Dom, as everybody know him as. He was the very first character. And the funniest thing about it was the girl that he ended up with, her original name was Dandridge Monroe. And then the more I started writing her story, I was like, A, I like that name too much. So no, it can't be hers. And then B, it didn't fit.
You snatched the name.
Girl, I created you.
You a black mama for real.
I created you. You'll be fine. And her new name still fits the theme because it was an ode to like 1950s movies and like famous Black women in 1950s who broke stereotypes. So Dandridge Monroe really didn't fit it. So she's named after Diane Carroll and Pearl Bailey. So
look at the historical references there.
I'll be trying. This little layers to peel back.
Layers.
My baby is a COVID superhero baby. She is absolutely.
She came out knowing what to do.
She was born in our house, in our bathtub. She was a planned home birth. I am an ADHD kid with crayons. You see what my children do on my board that's supposed to be about my stuff? This is all their mania. So they get it honest. So I don't even care anymore.
Good. Let the kids be kids.
They are, to a fault. Right.
So the consortium series. So you're saying way back before, how long ago did you even come up with this idea for the consortium series?
Are you okay? The consortium series was completely on the fly. It started because a friend of mine, a friend of mine who was like trying to think about ways, because she's a poet and she wants to write. And I was like, hey, we can do like a real quick Valentine short together, right? And she was like, okay, yeah, cool. But then she started to have like analysis paralysis about what she wanted to do. And I was like, baby girl, I don't work like this. Like, I already started thinking about these people. These people have already started talking to me. And so she came up with the name of the town. And so I wrote the consortium. I wrote Red Roses and Regrets when I was writing it. I was like, oh, this would be like a little quick da-da-da-da-da.
The girls love a good kidnapping love story, okay? They love a good close proximity love story. The girls eat it up. They eat it up. Even they eat it up. By the
time they got back to Cuba's house, I was like, nope, this ain't gonna be a standalone. And I told her, I was like, baby girl, we're going to have to add you. You're going to have to tap in later whenever you get yours done, because this is going somewhere.
Okay. So,
and literally it just snowballed from there, because it was supposed to just be Red Roses and Regrets. And then by the time I finished it, I was like, okay, well, we'll do like a part 2 on Jasmine and Yakuba. And then I was turning 40 and something was just like, get Yakuba's book out right now. And so the 5 weeks before my birthday, I was up super late at night making sure I got that book done. And then as soon as I got done with that, I started writing something else. And here comes Jada's ass like, hey, don't you miss me?
That is the wild, wild girl. Like, I'll be trying not to be surprised by her antics, but her antics she outdoes herself every book.
She's a lot. And
she's a fool.
She's currently in Scotland, giving them people all kinds
of... Wait. Because you said you started working on Baltara's book in 20...
No, just books in general.
Just books in general. But so when you started with this idea of a half Black, half Scottish guy who would run something, you yourself weren't aware that it would tie into the consortium.
No, Liam's book was originally called... and it's funny because I misprinted his book with the wrong information. It was originally called Carolina Falls. That's what it was. And so when I sent the doc over to Amazon, it had like my real name. It had the original file name. And there's either it's just me or there's one other person in this world that has a misprint of that book somewhere. So if y'all have it, don't tell nobody my real identity. Okay, thanks. I mean, you can, because I mean, what you gonna do? I started writing him and Frankie in 2014 or 15. So even before all the madness happened, that document is like old, before Nick and Ev old, before Dom old. And so there were certain parts of the story that still rang true, but they were supposed to be a completely legitimate half Scottish, half Black family, combined family. And then I was like, nah, they're not legitimate. They're not farmers, because they were like they were like sheep herders or something like that.
I was close to it though. It wasn't that far.
I mean, technically they farm.
Yeah, but see, I mean, she
They
had
have
people who
a lot
worked
of
for her as a like, but she had a farm. She said she wanted to
good,
feed. She
good
feeds
too, you
the
know,
land. She knows how to slaughter animals. Like it's not too far fetched.
and
She just
people.
masterminded it and made it into an actual business.
Yes. And you know, he has places where he grows things for his liquors. So I mean, they're technically farmers. They harvest organs, so that's another part of it.
If you ask my girl to go out and do, she would know what to do. She,
Mhm.
as soon as she got back to her house, she said, "What did y'all do?"
She
And
can
she
field
said,
dress
"Oh,
something.
y'all kept my okay." And it was, it's like, "Oh, Bao, you thought I was coming home." He was like, "No, I knew you was coming home."
He
So
knew that's his girl. Him and Frankie love each other real bad.
they,
Like because it was always the three of them. You know, it's a little town. Bal is an outsider. Liam and is, you know, kind of a weirdo, but his family owns everything. So it's not like anybody's gonna say anything to him. And he's fine. I mean, hello, and he's rich. So Mr. Popular. And then there's Frankie. She's like nobody loves her. Her mama a hoe. Forgive my language. But you know.
and the
Her
skin,
mama's a little
the whole skin, the complexion thing, being
right.
in the South is a lot. And then she, yeah. So okay, so the consortium series, it wasn't a series. It was these truly independent books. And then you saw an opportunity when Red Roses and Regrets came about, and you said, "Oh, but I do have these other people out here," and that leads to what one of my questions was: why is the storyline so like it was that on purpose? Because we get so many bits and pieces, like Priest's story, we get so many bits and pieces prior to the story, but it's like, oh, but this happened before or after. Did this happen before or after? And I guess is that why? It's
No,
not.
it's just how my brain has created these people. And I promise you, so Priest met Naima in another series, in the midst series. And that is, you know, a small town that has like social justice issues going on, but like them black folks handled their business in this town. Okay. If y'all think Priest is something crazy, y'all need to go read about Kyan Diallo because that boy, that's
I
a
might,
wild
I
boy.
might on that one.
That is a wild boy, but he meets her then. And it literally was like, the consortium wants to be here. And I'm like, what do you mean they want to be here? And I'm talking to myself like, I don't, what is this about? And they were like, yeah, we were there. I was like, okay, y'all were there. This
And when
happened.
you say they were there when the house was invaded and the girls were taken out, and
Yes.
that was the there.
They were there. Yes. And it's
Okay.
talked about, it's mentioned briefly in Red
And,
Roses and Regrets.
right.
Or
Okay.
one or the other or both. And when he talks about he had fun shooting his tech up in a small town in Georgia, he got his hands dirty. That's what he's referencing. He's referencing how they literally demolished a whole police station. I say that so casually.
It was first. We gonna talk about that because it, mm, okay, because I was like the storyline is kind of convoluted because where are we in this? Is not if you read. I think this is a good series for people to read when it's done. We don't know when it's going to be done, but when it's done,
No.
because the way the books are released are not the timeline of the actual events in the books.
For the consortium, it is. Everything else has happened previously. The In the Midst series is the only one that's technically in the past. All of the events for the In the Midst series have already happened. And so, like the guy who was doing Jameer's tattoo,
Yeah.
he is the final book for the In the Midst series. It just hasn't come out
So
yet.
that's I need to read the In the Mist series and kind of catch up because I was like, did I miss something?
You don't
But
necessarily miss anything. It's just almost like you see an old friend that you haven't seen in like a year. You know what I mean? Like, oh, y'all still around? Oh, it's so good to see y'all. It's one of those moments.
but okay. So we met Naima before in that series.
Yes.
That in the consortium helped because they don't believe in the harm of women, and
Yes.
they said, okay, our friends called and said, come help us, and we
Yes.
used our resources to free these women. And John Mayer specifically came because he recognized that this was a place he hadn't been before, and he was like, oh,
He came specifically because Yakuba asked him to come.
so
Because
So before he got there, he didn't realize this was the house, the same house.
No, it was when he was on his way there that he was like the realization sinks in, and he's just like, "Well, why in the world am I being sorry? I have no idea why this is coming over on my phone." The realization of it sinks in, and he's almost like, "How am I going to be able to go to this house and do any kind of good when I've technically done bad here before?" And that
gotta give him, yeah, he had to give himself some grace. I was kind of fighting like with him on that. Like, you gotta give yourself some grace. One, you didn't do anything with anybody in the house. You were 16, and Naima held it down for all of us on that note.
She didn't she? I was proud of my girl.
I knew she had it in her, only because I knew Jameer couldn't be with a kind of girl who just had none. Like, he needed somebody soft and who knew the word, who walked upright, but like he said in the very end of the book, I need somebody to be a reflection of all parts of me. And I feel like when it was time to show up, if she wouldn't have, you would have had a lot of angry readers, because he is like Yakuba said it. He's the person you got to kind of protect, because you got to protect him from himself.
Oh, yeah.
Not from other people. It's like,
oh, yeah.
So every time Yakuba kind of saw him going to that dark place, it was like, bro, if you would joke with him and play with him. And,
come on back now. Come on back
now. Come on back. So,
walk into the light, Carol.
Yeah, because he needs protection from himself, not from other people.
He did. Like, that boy is crazy.
How deeply do you research your storylines?
It all depends. I try to write from a point of reference, which is just, life, things that have happened, experiences that have happened, or, just current events, past events that I can just touch on from memory. But then, I had to go and research all this Scottish, Gaelic, and cross-reference it from like 6 different places to make sure it was right. Because, back in the 90s, or in the 2000s, people were getting them Arabic tattoos and Chinese tattoos, and they were just saying, whoever did it and why. So, like, I'm trying to avoid that being like in print for the rest of my life, and somebody being like, "Girl, did you know that don't really mean?"
So, okay, and Sean, that's why I asked, like, how did you consult any professionals to assure the details are accurate? How much Bible study did you do for Priest's character?
All of that was on the fly. Priest, his
you writing sermons on the fly?
His oration skills are inspired by, and I wrote it in the front of the book, the man who is like my role model for like good men, good fathers, good husbands. He was my childhood pastor, and he was just such an exceptional human being. He passed away 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. And when I tell you, it was like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, I need to write a sermon. And I was like, there's no way that the word is such a big part of who he is and what keeps him grounded for the most part. And there ain't a sermon in this book. And so he literally was in my ear and he was like, go run, tell that. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And he was like, go run, tell that. And I'm like, bruh, how are we going to make a sermon out of that? And it just started to happen. And I literally heard that sermon in my pastor's voice. I've not heard this man preach since I was 17 years old. I am 41. And I heard it in his voice as if I was sitting in Friendship or Emmanuel AME on the pew, like the points where it needed to be, a little bit more vibrato put on that word. I literally heard him preach this word to me. And at the end of it, I was like, whew, Reverend Brown, I'm sorry I was cussing. But I'm sorry.
Okay. So you didn't even because I would have thought you went and actually like sat with a pastor or something.
No, that's all a flex back from childhood church culture.
Because the church culture unfortunately was represented in a way that a lot of us can relate to, which is it's unfortunate, but it is why so many people in this generation have broken away from the church, because the church hurt and because of people like that man that we don't want to talk about, but we're gonna have to talk about because he's just a terrible individual. Like just him and the wife, just horrible individuals.
And
Like
I really don't like Chantel.
no, we don't. Because what is there? What is there? She has no redeeming qualities. Even in the position that you leave her in, she has no redeeming qualities.
I mean,
She drugged somebody to do something. Like almost in the same
oh
boat
no, she is. She's absolutely a terrible
as
person.
her husband. Because why would you drug a man of such
Selfish.
stature
Selfish. She's selfish.
to do that? And then again, like Jamir said, even if you knew the kind of man you married as your only child, and for her to know the truth for that long, because she knew that that was not his son, for you to know the truth for so long, but you only used me as a bargaining tool to get what you wanted. Yeah, no, I feel like she actually got off kind of light.
Y'all really, I need y'all to understand something. I don't leave loose ends.
Well, now that we got to the end, and I mean, no, I get it, because at the end of it, now we have this whole new mind of a situation, because the bits and pieces, the breadcrumbs for Angel was dripped and dropped throughout the book, and then you get to those last 2 pages, and you like, what you didn't do now, girl? What you did?
I didn't do it though. I promise y'all I
I'm not
didn't.
talking about you. I'm talking about the other lady we was talking about, Chantel, because she had something to
Oh,
do
she's
with it.
terrible.
But she's a terrible person. But I just feel like I get why she's alive, but I also feel like we need retribution for her, because you don't do that to your child, and
Things
it's only so much she didn't know.
There's a lot that is still to come. Like the entire Order Chantel situation has not been wrapped up. Like there's still things from Gadiel that hasn't been wrapped up. But Baltair's book wraps up those loose ends.
I was supposed to ask you about Naima and her character development before we jumped into them other people, about the research that goes into it. Naima, where she's from. So did you research that, or do you have another person in your life that's from that you just kind of pulled it out?
So I mean, one of my line sisters, she's Igbo.
Okay.
And I have always had a fascination with trying to determine like what tribe I would be from, like to the point where I'll see people just random and they're immigrants and they're like, do you know you look like, and I'm like, are you sure? Because if I go look these people up and these people don't look nothing like me, I'm gonna feel some kind of way before I start repping a set that ain't my set. I need y'all to be sure when you tell me stuff. But the Real Negus series, it is literally the word is Ethiopian. Is it Ethiopian? I think so. Negus, it means king. And it's the real kings, but the real kings in the book are the women, because all of the women have direct ties to Africa. And so I kind of just kept going with that. I really liked people being able to know where they were from and being able to add layers of cultures that we don't get to see represented very often. I mean, Southern culture is lit now, don't get me wrong. Black American culture, like, y'all my people. But I like to know stuff. Maybe I'm just nosy, but I like knowing different things, like the different customs that happen when it came to this particular tribe or that particular tribe when it came to something.
I think it's interesting. And I think it's a good, because your books fall under certain parameters, it'll reach certain audiences.
Right.
And that I think is interesting, because
somebody told me I was bougie urban.
See, here's my issue with that. It's not even necessarily I won't say issue, but all of the books in this series are not urban, because urban is a place, and I think we have to in this community stop labeling something as one thing because of how we view it. Voltaire's book is not urban. They live in a small countryside, a very small country that is not urban. Priest would be urban because it's more so based in Atlanta.
It's the suburbs too.
But it's the suburbs. But he references Atlanta, like, that's his reference city.
Yes.
As somebody from Philly, I think from one of the largest urban cities in the country,
Big.
I want people to stop just when they see black people and they see certain qualities of how they represent themselves, that does not make it urban.
Right.
And that is starting to drive me up a wall. I would not box you into a urban, because these books are technically not urban.
I don't think any of them are. They all, except for Priest. He's the only one that actually makes reference to
A large
a city.
metropolitan,
Yeah.
which would be an urban city.
Right.
That's it. But the rest of, like, to if I went on Amazon, yes, they would probably put Voltaire in an urban category, but it's not urban because it's in a small countryside.
Yeah.
But we have done ourselves a disjustice in this small culture, this very small group of people, because we like to think it's really large, but it's not.
No.
Of making everything written in a certain way, or when we see black people with certain cultural aspects, like you see Yakuba, he's so cool, he wears grills, he does this, and he curses like that. He's urban, and it's like that's not necessarily true. My family grew up right outside of Atlanta. They country as hell. Okay? My mama's from San Antonio, Texas. They Midwestern country, which is a whole different level of country.
That's a different breed.
They walk around barefoot. It drives me insane. My auntie lived outside of St. Louis. Like it's definitely levels to this. So we can't keep just boxing everything into this. Oh, it's urban, and I want us to break out of those boxes because it's keeping people very mentally limited in a way as to what they will and won't read or how they digest what they're reading.
I think a lot of it has to do with internalizing what people outside the culture use to make us fit into a specific paradigm. And I think that's the thing that has always irritated me. I'm one of those people where I look at norms and I don't like norms because norms are based on people who are nothing like us, white, male. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't ever like looking at norms as being the acceptable thing. Because let's be honest, if my kids got out there acting like some of their kids, which is the norm, but I'd have to take my kids to the back room because y'all not going to be acting like this, embarrassing me. All right. Y'all going to act like because I put too much time into this. And so that's actually something that Voltaire says to his lady love in this book that I'm writing right now. He was like, why would anybody, because she's making a point that she is not the beauty standard. And he's like, my God, why would I ever want my dream woman to be the standard? He's like, you don't build a house to look for standard. You build a house and you look for the top of the line. You put in every feature, every detail that you want that is made specifically for you, which is exactly how I feel God did when he created you. He was like, so thank God you're not the standard.
But even also, just to play advocate, because I don't like playing devil's advocate, because the devil doesn't need an advocate. And Cardinal has made that very clear. Devil does not need an advocate. If he grew up in Scotland and he felt outplaced, I'm going to guess his leading lady is a black woman.
Very much so. Girl, I don't write people.
No. I'm just hear me out. What I tell people all the time is, to them, we are the exotics. We are the exotics. We are the ones who are looked at like, oh my gosh, look at their melanin, look at their lips, look at their eyebrows. We are exotic to other. And I had to realize that when I started traveling, when people would be like, oh my God. And I'm like, I'm just a black girl, right? But to them, what? They thought they think it's amazing.
I hate that word though. It's like, bruh, ew, go away. I'm just, I think it, because see, I'm Southern Black. I live in South Carolina. So some of the really people would be like, so are you fully Black? Baby, do you see me? What part of me look like I'm not? Yes. Oh, okay. Well, you're just so well spoken. I will.
Oh, now that burns me up. That burns me up. But we're getting off topic. That burns me up. What does that mean? But okay. how, talking about all of these strong men, how difficult is it to navigate writing such masculine characters with no crossover between traits and characteristics, especially being as though there is so much crossover from, hold on, because I wrote series to series here, but let me clear this up. From standalone interconnected to other standalone connected.
Okay.
They're not series.
They're all commonalities that I like in men. Like I tell everybody, my husband's an asshole. I love him, but he's not one of those he is not Gadiel on the ground with the poison arrow in his back, speaking flowery language to his woman who's not even there as he thinks he's dying. Like my husband is very much like strong, silent. I'm gonna say this and it might hurt your feelings, but I love you more than life itself kind of person. Like that's just him. And I think that there is a thread of him in everybody I write. There's always going to be somebody who, like, they might tell it to you straight, that and he has moments where he does very flowery things. Like he told me today, he was like, hey, I just got an alert that about your last book. I'm like, what are you talking about? And me, I'm mean. And he's like, I follow you on Amazon. And I'm like, but you don't even read. But you follow. It's like little sweet, I want you to know I support you silently things. And I think that there's a man is going to be a man in every man that I write, because that is what is so very lacking in a lot of the people that we see right now. Thank God I got to be nicer to that man. But it's very, very much, I don't want to say stereotypical male, but it is a man who sees a woman for who she is and still wants to provide her a life where she does not have to be that person if she chooses not to be. Because I think there are so many of us who are strong because we have to be. We are diligent about things because we are so used to people letting us down. We are controlling because we are so used to people dropping the ball that we can't do it. And I want every woman that finds love that I write about to be able to put the armor down, however it plays out for them.
Even if it's just for the 6 hours that you read in the book.
Right. Like my girl, Billy. Billy is still Billy badass. Billy is still making deals. Billy got 4 kids. Okay. Jacoby might knock her up with number 5, even though he just got snitched.
Wait a minute. Her and the white boy that's not a white boy got 4 kids?
They got 4 kids now, baby. She got 4 kids. She's still willing and dealing. She done took a step back from her job, but 3 days out of the week, that girl is still signing $1 million deals.
I loved her real bad.
Man, Billy is the me that I have aimed to be my entire life. I was like, I want to be like her.
I love her real bad, especially after the whole cop situation. That was, that's not the book we're talking about. So, okay, because Priest is the reason why I knew Priest was going to be my favorite out of what we've been introduced so far to character-wise in this series that's not a series. I love me. I think I say this on almost every chat. I love the quiet men. I love quiet men in real life. That's because I am a yapper. I am a chatty Cathy. I like my man to just be like, whatever she said. Like I don't want my man to have to. My sister jokes about it all the time. Like I have dated men where she literally was like, does this nigga talk? To me, he talks to me. That's all I ever asked for is him to talk to me. He don't gotta talk to y'all.
That is all that is necessary. Y'all are extra. And
y'all don't need it. And so when I was reading like the little bits about Priest, I was like, I found him. He's tall. He's business minded.
He's got a jet.
Yeah.
He knows God. He's not a 304.
This the one. He ain't got to kidnap nobody. He ain't got to pull out his.
I mean, she was technically kidnapped before, so the dirty work was done for him.
But his restraint and his patience when he said he knew that she needed to figure it out on her own for those 2 years, and that's why he didn't immediately start to court her. Amazing.
I love him.
a man, a grown man,
I
a
love
man who did not allow these men get hurt and they be hurt forever. He
right.
was hurt by the people who were meant to protect him. And he said, I'm going to heal and get over this pain and I'm going to stay grounded in the word and know that it was all for a You wrote that. You wrote that. I was
He's
like,
just a good man. And I mean, that's just what he told me.
that's a good man, Savannah.
That's a good man. I like Priest was one of those ones where I was like, for real? This what you doing? Okay, boy. I see you. He was.
That was like the sprinkle, like the
I didn't expect that. The one that got me was the bracelet in the office at the church. I literally was sitting there like,
no. What got me is when Felicity walked in and he was like, "Who told you to stop?" He said, I'm doing my husbandly duties with my wife. What she got going on, they got nothing. So you like voyeurism a little bit or no? Like what? Like
he has a lot of kinks. I tried
a man
not to make his kinks like too overt to take away.
I wouldn't here to highlight them for myself because I said
a reading kink. That's why he is constantly shooting club up with that girl every chance he gets.
I said, and you like how you know God and you nasty? What? That's what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about.
You're a little demonic too.
No, speaking of that, because that's actually my next question. Can you clarify for the girls? Because you like to dibble and dabble in writing in the real world and writing in the supernatural world. But it was a few moments where he was giving supernatural. Can we confirm that this man is completely human?
Oh, he's human. Yes, they don't cross over that way.
Because he was given when he was doing his thing in the dungeon, in the bunker, and it was like, why does it look like his tattoos are alive? I was like, wait a minute, is something else in here?
That was just a nod to how good Elijah's tattoos
because they looked alive.
They just looked like in the dark when the shadows were hitting. You know, Priest was working his angles.
If I could have been a fly on the wall with a cloak.
I literally was sitting there like looking at this in my head like I was one of the people like with my little happy hood on, and I was like, this is really about to wow, okay.
And that brings me to my next question. How do you sleep at night after researching and writing about this stuff? How did you, the gruesomeness of this was as somebody who horror and sci-fi is their favorite genre, I literally watch slasher flicks. It was not a little bit gruesome.
Really? Now, see, I don't watch slasher flicks.
Oh, I do. Like I
can't do horror movies.
So here's the thing: reading, I am a romance girly through and through. Visually, I'm a suspense horror girly through and through. Like when I say slasher, I mean it doesn't even have to have a plot. Just
as long as blood is.
God's still working on me because yeah.
To answer your question, I sleep fine. I think it's because I don't willy-nilly end people. You know what I mean? Everybody they had a reason. And that is why Priest was giving them so much rope. I had people leaving reviews like, oh, he was weak until the end and she was weak too. And I'm like, y'all missed the whole point.
If you were reading it, it's coming from their point of view. He's literally telling you that when this happens, he's guaranteed it's going to happen from the very beginning of the book. When this happens, I don't want anybody from the order or the consortium to be able to ask me why this happened. And the real reason why it happened didn't even come to fruition until the very end of the book is because he finally got the confirmation that he killed Pope and that was his father. That didn't even come to the end of the book.
I think people are so used to like when it's supposed to be somebody who is about that life, like Priest is a man who is calculated. He's not going to do anything that's rash. And his biggest thing was, I am not going to make this man's end easy and then find out later on that there's another sin he has to atone for. He wanted it laid out all on the table. And the boy literally beat somebody to the end in the prologue. Like, did y'all think that he was weak?
But also in the prologue, it literally says that he was trying to get out from this mindset of just being on go. Like he really was trying to just be a pastor. Like if he could have it his way, he was like, I would just be a pastor and I would just save souls. But because I was born into this situation, I now have to consult with my other side. And that side can
Do
that's
damage.
I really don't like letting out the beast because then I can't pull it back in. And that's kind of why I need a wife because I need somebody to help me tame this demon and get it back inside when I need
And I
to.
think that, people are very used to seeing folks that just fly off the handle for any reason or like action here, action there. And it's like, that's not what these are. If you go back and you look at Yakuba's book, Yakuba was violent like once.
I think it's
Jazzy Baby was the hero of
I think it's because it started so ignorant. Like with Yakuba books, it started so ignorant. Like you not just gonna crash these people engagement party and tell people. I think that's what happened. Yakuba book started so ignorant. It's like, oh, this is an ignorant man. Like he
is though. He just is.
He was like, I will kick this casket down. Like, no, really, he will kick the casket down. Please escort this man out the church. No, I think people joke and say they're gonna kick a casket, but this man will really kick this casket down. Please.
That was a fun moment.
But Naima slapping the woman during the meeting at Chantel's house with Chef's kiss.
Oh, she went off. She beat that one. I feel as though Naima should have got around to with that mama and daughter.
With Felicity and
yeah. Like, because I mean, she beat him up and then she did him in. But I almost wish that she would have got like another one time for the one time with him, just because that woman was trifling.
Yeah.
I just can't stand Faith. Every time I had to write her, I was like, ooh.
That ending part where we find out that she might be Cardinals, like that had my tummy hurt a little bit. And that's why I'm trying to figure out how you sleep at night, because how you wrote that down and was like,
I didn't, but it's not like I came up with it. The voices were like, hey, that's probably Cardinal's kid, right? And I was like, hold up, for real? I was like, dang, that's gonna be messed up. Let me go ahead and put that down.
And are we sure Cardinal has no more kids? Like, did we cover all our bases there? It was 4 kids. See, I feel like you left that out. Then I'm like, you left that little drop with, where did this kid come from? Like, that means you didn't see because you play too much. Because it's like, okay, 4 kids. And then we don't know if Damien's really dead. Like, he's just going to be in that torture chamber for a long time.
I'm so glad you picked up on that.
But did
Damien is dead or not? Because everybody was like, oh, he's the Scarecrow. And I was like, is he?
No, I didn't think Damien was a Scarecrow. I figured the Scarecrow was somebody. I didn't think it was Damien, though.
Oh, it's Cardinal.
I thought it was one of the cousins.
Oh, no, it's Cardinal.
But I realized when I closed the book, when I was like, dang, when it was like the end and it was like, keep going. And I was like, this ain't the end. And I swiped because you could have just stopped and you wouldn't known that Chantel was, because you never said before it said the end what happened to Chantel. Everybody was so engrossed in what was going on with Cardinal, the cousins.
Yeah.
And Damien, it was like, well, what happened to Chantel? And then it said the end. And I was like, no, wait a minute, damn it. And I kept swiping. I was like, yeah, because what happened to the mama?
Yeah.
And then we found out what happened to the mama. And then I was like, but Damien, so when I had to go through all the characters, I was like, well, the cousin died.
Mm-hmm.
Cardinal definitely died.
Oh, as a doorknob.
But Damien's still alive.
He could be.
We know Cardinal had 4. There are 4 confirmed children of Cardinal. Damien as the firstborn boy. Well, Felicity is Faith is a maybe.
No, Faith is the mama. So it's
Felicity is a maybe,
and then the 3 girls.
And then,
but he might have a son.
That's what I was like. But is
he's
the person
already dead?
Is Angel his son or not?
No.
Is Smoke his son?
No.
Then who would be his son?
Different series.
Oh, see, I got to go.
You've already read it.
One of the orphans?
Mm-hmm.
You a messy lady. You are a messy, messy lady. You are a messy lady.
I don't know if you read the details. No, because I think the details of Malcolm's birth was that he was left in a gas station.
Not the cop. Not the cop.
Mhm.
Ooh, not the police officer that can't do right to save his life.
He's not that bad.
It was terrible. And the way he treated
Yeah, I know. I got to do a follow up on them because everybody's like, she deserves better, and I'm like, y'all,
he does. I don't
she's
care. I
happy.
get it. No, she really do. And
She's
I understand. Again, he one of them people that got hurt in the 6th grade, and
Yeah.
you just gonna be hurt for the rest of your life. Like, come on.
He is. Look,
And I don't like the fact that he didn't listen to the whole story. Like, that girl had a story. And the only person that should have been trying to get her together was what's his wife's name? Ev.
Yeah.
That's the only person that should have been trying to get her together. Malcolm, you just was mad. And he stayed mad for too long. Like, I don't know.
Y'all can't tell that man how to hurt.
We're not telling him how to hurt. We're just trying to tell her that now that she got herself together, that just because he was your first love and he showed you what you thought was true love, you still deserve. You could.
I'm gonna forever go to bat for them too, only because
no.
But you also have to see them in subsequent books to see how he is very, very honest and talks to the fact that he knows he messed up. He knows that she deserves better, and he is honestly grateful to God every day. He wakes up and determined to stay with him. Look, I don't write this. I mean, I write the stories, but I don't make the stories. I just
would be
news.
So messy because now he's not a cop no anymore. But still, he had that real self-righteous, wrong and right is black and white type of mindset kind of thing.
But if you read later books, he started his business.
Right, the security company.
So he is very much into the morally gray. And one of the things that his business does is to protect people while they are doing things to get justice for others when they are not able to get justice for themselves. So he very much is still following in the footsteps.
He would technically, according to the rules of the order, be priest second due to biological fine print of what the consortium says has to happen.
It all depends on birth order. That I don't know. I don't know
he would, because Damien can't be it. He would be the oldest boy.
Yeah, but we don't knock girls. We don't knock girls in the order. No,
I'm talking about in the consortium.
Yes, I know. Yes.
So
he can still be. He can still. A woman can still be a second in the consortium.
So the girls could be.
Because you got to think about it. Safi ran the head. She was the head of her family until Liam got older. Xerxes' mama Babette ran her family.
You're right, but I'm thinking age-wise, he would be older than the girls.
He would be older than the girls. He's not older than Priest, and technically it doesn't matter because Priest is Cardinal's son who would have inherited anyway.
Right. You are a messy, messy lady. Because why would you even put that curveball in there like that? Like, got us just scrambling. Like, wait, I'm like, wait. Okay.
He told me this, I promise you, 3 nights ago. Somebody asked me and they were like, is that all the Cardinals kids? And Malcolm was like, yeah, nah.
Well, you see, I had a question too. Like, that's what I had the same question. Did we meet all of Cardinals kids? No. Because we don't know. He just said that he would get rid of kids. And Priest assumed that after he had Damien, he could not make boys because of karma or whatever. But who was to say that Damien was the oldest?
But that's why the girl ran away. Because she knew what was going to happen to the kid had she not run away. That's why he was born and abandoned in a gas station.
You said this came to your mind 3 days ago?
Yes. Sean, I'm not shenanigans. You asked me that. Sean might have been the one who asked me this, but yeah.
Because now that is just a messy situation because now that Priest is doing all of these test running and trying to figure out his family tree, And I'm sure Malcolm database is somewhere in there because he's a cop, he been shot and all of that. Ping, ping, ping. It's like you don't even need what's that service called when you
It's
look
going
at
to show
family
up.
members? You don't even need that registry. It's just going to show up.
Oh, Ancestry? Yeah, no. Mm-mm. They know how to find him. And I think that the time frames are going to match up and
Look
they
at,
end up,
I can see the evil in your eye.
I'm not being
I
evil.
can see it. I can see the evil in your eye.
Everything is going to be copacetic. They are going to be friends. I don't even know if Malcolm is going to want to officially be a part of the order. He might just want to sit this one out.
That's not true. That's why would you sit here and lie to us like that? Because
I'm
you
not. I don't know what's going to happen. They haven't told me. My brain is in Scotland. I'm trying my hardest to ignore the fact that Jada
that
is
was true.
here
That
having
was
a
true.
haggis
Malcolm
right
wouldn't have said nothing. Malcolm would have just said he wouldn't have said nothing.
now. I can't help when it comes. I can't.
Malcolm wouldn't have said nothing if that was the case. You know what? Will we see in future books how the order is restored and used moving forward in partnership with the consortium?
Yes. So the order has already started, I guess, segueing into what it is that they're going to do. Like when in Gadiel, when they automatically sent Smoke to go check on Liam and Francesca to make sure they were good because, they knew something was wrong. That is almost going to be their new thing. They're going to
Like
be,
the Secret Service for thugs.
yes. Isn't it great?
Like the Secret Service for gangsters.
Yeah. That is a great way to put it.
B613.
I
But
like
the
that.
other side.
I like that.
You can,
Yes,
you can have it. You can have that one for free, girl.
that works. I like
Because you didn't make me real happy. You can have that one for free.
that.
Woo, that is funny. That is funny. So, are we getting now the order interconnected series / standalones?
Okay, so this is how it's going to
Because
happen.
they're not a part of the consortium.
So, so every house,
Who forgot Priest was a trade assassin? Not me.
people sleep on my baby. All right, Priest be they.
Listen. I love me a very disciplined, just
Unhinged.
a little unhinged. Like I said, I'm from Philly, so I need a little unhingedness because it's a lot of unhinged stuff happening around me. So I need to make sure that you can match the energy if needed. I'm not saying I want you unhinged all the time, but if we in a certain situation, I know you can. I need to know that you not only can carry yourself, but you can carry me as well.
Right. Well, the thing with the books, how it is going now is that the heads of the family are all going to get their books. So now, if you've read through Priest, you know that there are 6 families that make up the consortium. And we still have to get through Ori's family, Xerxes' family, and we've already gone through 3. We've done the Millers, we have done the Davises, that's Gadiel, and now we've done the Suttons, that's Jameer. And then we have 3 more, and that is
Bao and Ori.
it's Ori, which is the Hawaiian. It is Xerxes Cannon, and that Xerxes Cannon is actually the first cousin to a billionaire. That's the part of the Real Nigga series.
I just know he rich, like not even not even and can spend the kind of money in this lifetime.
A-Rab money, yes.
Yeah, like that real dirty. Like I know everybody in the series got money, but he got the kind of money that make you. I could buy
a country.
You know when Kanye was like, "How much does the earth cost?" I'm gonna buy the earth.
Yes, and then we have the final family, which is the Benoit family that we learned about. That's Angel and his sister Gemma Marie.
Okay,
so Angel,
where the land from?
Yes, that is the original family that released the consortium from the bounds, or the family members of the consortium from the bounds of slavery, and gave them the ability to spread out through the Southeast
I still need to but we need to figure out what did Chantel do to her? Like how, like what did you like? Did Chantel still Angel?
No.
Like,
So this is what happened with Angel. Angel and Gemma Marie have a tante, an auntie, who hates them because she wants to be the head chick in charge. So Angel came about because the aunt was sleeping with Cardinal.
who didn't Cardinal sleep with? That's the real question. We need a man who Cardinal did not sleep with. He had slept with everybody. And and then he was using Damian booty hole, and he was using fake booty hole. Everybody booty hole was getting used. And I was so perplexed. Like, what is going on in this story that all of a sudden everybody's getting their booty holes used?
Depravity.
I was so perplexed. It was like, she's a virgin. No, she's not. She be on her knees and bent over.
Look, now, I did not need Mother Henry to say that during the middle of the meeting. And I'm saying this like I didn't write it, but I didn't. I reported it. I thought that she had just a little less couth than need be in that.
If we didn't know who Jada's mama was,
that's Jada in like 50 years.
Yeah. Okay, so we have at least 3 more books for the consortium series.
It's more than that.
Explain yourself. So we have 3 more families.
It's 3 more families, and then there's other people from the families that get books. Like Angel is getting a book.
I guess that was my question. Is his book going to be under the consortium series, or are we going to get a drop down series of the order?
But well, Angel is not going to be a part of the order. Like full-fledged, because he now has to go and join with his sister and take his spot. Yes, and take his spot as a full member of the consortium as her second. So Smoke,
because I understand why. Okay, now that I understand, because my brain is not catching up to the fact that we've only had Angel in the order thus far, but now this Angel kept saying, "Who am I? Who am I? Who am I?" We about to really find out.
Yes, you find out that he was kidnapped by Cardinal.
He's a bring him back up. Bring him back up.
He's absolutely. I told y'all that's why that man had to wait till
bring him back up. He is a scum. Like, he is so terrible as a person, because even with him not knowing Priest was like, he just was a terrible, terrible person. Like, just a jealous, horrible, power hungry. Yes. And then to be that power hungry and not know how to actually
terrible at it. He was terrible at it.
He reminded me of Pinky in the Brain. Like, you want to take over the world, but you have absolutely no clue what him and Chantel was. Pinky in the Brain. Y'all want to be powerful and take over everything, but you have absolutely no clue what you're doing.
They were very much too selfish to exist within the confines of the consortium, which is why they were being so risky. They almost got the entire thing taken down. And you see more of what happened in Xerxes' story, because it's not so much Jameer feeling like he has to make further amends, but I think that that's probably what it's going to give off, simply because the backstory needs to be told, because their family almost lost their freedom. Never mind the money. They almost lost their freedom until...
That's a good man, Savannah. He just be doing all the right stuff for all the right reasons.
You know, those are his friends. Well, they're not even his friends, they're his brothers.
Yeah, that's his family.
Those are the people and their families that loved him when his didn't. And so, of course, there's a part of him that is beholden to them, not just because of the consortium, but because of the love that you would have for somebody who has shown you that they love you unconditionally. Because the easiest thing for the consortium to do to get rid of the problem would have been to get rid of all the Suttons.
Right.
Just close down the order. But instead of doing that, they allowed him to step in to fall on his own sword, basically. And of course, people question him, like, why is Cardinal still around? Why is he breathing?
No, who I thought was going to take, I thought Safi was going to take Cardinal out. She wanted to real bad. And when I thought it was going to happen, I thought she was going to take Cardinal and Chantel out in one swing when Chantel hired their people to dress Naima for the engagement party. Safi said, enough. enough is enough. Okay. Now you then tried it too many times, Miss, and I thought that that was going to be the end.
Safi wanted to Babette really
Yeah.
wanted,
So,
and we
mhm.
don't know a lot about Babette because we know about Xerxes, we know about Babette's brother through his son, but then, someone was telling me I needed to do, like, the parent origin
I
stories.
was just literally about to ask, will you tie that into Angel's story, since his story will be how the consortium kind of came about? Will we get more information of the origin?
So I have uh, toyed around with the idea of doing, like, the actual historical, like, 1850s, 1860s historical romance story that is the reason why all of the enslaved people on the land were freed, and showing the different families as they were then, and
Mhm.
then going back to the 90s and doing the parent stories. But I don't know. That's a whole lot to be thinking about. I got to put my 90s hat on, and
You literally just said, "We'll see who speaks up."
don't do that. Sean does that. And then
We'll
I
see.
get 7 people
We'll
rushing
see who,
to the
we'll
front.
see who speaks up. Like you, I'm not. You said you don't. You said you don't tell the story. You just report the story. So we have to see who
But
speaks
I
up.
have other people
You
that be
literally just said 3 days ago, Malcolm popped up out of nowhere and was like, "Oh, I'm that man's son too." Like, why would you say that? Because that's not a man that you want to be the son of. So unless you had something to talk about, you would never raise your hand and be like, "Oh, I'm also Cardinal son." You must got something you need to get talk about.
He'll tell me when it's time. I don't know. As far as, like, what's coming up, I know Baltair is coming up.
How you
I
know
know
that?
Xerxes is coming up because he talks to me. Like, right now, Jada is in the dining room of the Great Hall in his castle, and she is stabbing a piece of haggis, talking about, is it gonna buy?
Y'all let Jada out of America. That was your first problem.
Jada, who is who? Okay, so I will give y'all an insight to what's going on.
Okay.
Jada has to travel to Scotland.
Wait, because she played in the Latin.
She has to fly to Scotland because Baltair has to go to Scotland, and he was in the middle of doing something with somebody, and at their brother's wedding, and
At
he
JJ's
did,
wedding.
and he just knocked her out and put her on a plane and took her to Scotland. And so Jada and Smoke follow behind because Jada is ready to raise hell because Baltair kidnapped her sister.
And I thought it was because she was playing at his wedding.
No, she does though because their auntie just showed up. Yeah, at the wedding. Yeah, Dee Dee learned her lesson. Aunt Deidre didn't learn her lesson yet.
Not after she got beat up in the backyard for the.
She very much is angry that her brother has cut her off. And so she has decided that
But
she's
she
going
got beat up in the backyard. Like we left that books ago. Books ago. She got beat up in the backyard. I was there.
we all watched her get beat up. And then Jada set her up at Thanksgiving last year to
You
get
know what?
knocked up by the mama, but hard heads makes us off behind. I don't know what to tell you. That lady is relentless.
Oh my gosh. Oh
She
my.
is so used to being the only important woman in her brother's life that she holds so much resentment to every other woman in his life, his wife, his daughters,
You
everybody.
know why else you could do a book previous, because we can get more of Mother Henry, because what, like, so was she like, so her husband was Pope's smoke or angel.
Yes.
And so yeah, so like we need more, like we need Mother Henry's background story
I
and
ain't
how
right.
she
That
became,
old lady is retired.
how she became a throne in the order. And
Grandma. She's all right. She's
she
retired.
don't even like her own daughter, so that's not true.
She likes that girl. She just said she was weak.
She don't like her. That's what she said. All right, we gotta wrap this up. We went way over an hour.
I'm
Um, no, it's not your fault. You are hilarious. Priest and Naima. We didn't even really get to talk about Naima.
That's my
Naima. Naima made me happy because if she did not show up and show out for Jameer, that would have hurt my feelings. I'm really happy that she came
and she was
through.
catching all her jewelry.
Yes, that was a shock to me. I did not see that coming. I did not see the touch, because, and it's funny because you brought it to our attention, but I don't. I loved that. That made that I love a little twist in the story. I did not realize what was happening, but when she said, "Why do you keep tapping your ring?" To it all came together. It was one of those aha moments. I love when that happens when I'm reading. It was like, oh, that was so good. That was
Ah,
so good. The persuasive thanking, and
yes.
then her also saying that she was speaking to her in her mother tongue when nobody could hear her, so she was like hypnotized.
Planting little suggestive thoughts
Naima
in her
is one of those. She is one of those. You don't ever see him coming kind of people. Like you never see him coming. Even at the dinner table when she was like, "I'm eating the food. There's nothing wrong with my food. There's nothing wrong with the wine. I would never sacrifice animals or labor to benefit."
mind.
It was just so like, oh, Naima was a good girl. Like I loved it. She was like, but she was like, you kept wondering why your food was tasting salty, and you never stopped to question me. And it goes to show how stupid you are,
So
or
dumb.
how much you underestimated me.
They really thought that those two were just going to be weak. And I think that that was one of the things that helped sell the ability for them to get everything over, because he never took retribution against his mother or his father or her for what she did to him. And he still allowed Felicity to work
Yeah.
in the church. And it was just like, oh, he's just such a pushover. Oh,
I
yeah,
would say,
we'll keep
no,
him.
I think it was a great point that you made when you were reporting, not writing, reporting the story, that both Jameer and Naima had pity for her because they realized that she really did not have any critical thinking skills. Like she really was just a peon in this master plan of Cardinals. Like they all were peons. Now, where I feel Chantel and Faith deserve to die is because even though they were just peons in his plan, they wanted something. She didn't. Felicity didn't really. She wanted Jameer, but that's because that's what they told her to want.
I think that the thing that gets me about Felicity and why I have pity for her, but I don't, is because she never wanted him as a person. She wanted him as an idea. And as soon as Smoke was the idea, she was willing to sacrifice everything that she had put on the line for so many years to get him for this new, like, I hate a fickle person. Like, don't be fickle. And you can't be faithful and fickle. And she absolutely was. And it showed that she was never meant to be him, because as soon as things got rough, she was like, okay, well, I'm going to take the easy road. I'm
Yeah.
not going to sit here and warn him that these folks are gunning for him. I'm just going to side with these people who I think are going to come out on top, because she had never seen him be about that life. And
I
then it
was
was like, girl,
he I won't say protected, but his parent his if you went to one of his parishioners and said your pastor is a cold blooded killer, they would be like, who?
no, silly.
Pastor Sutton?
You must be,
You
you're
must have been
silly.
confused with somebody else. Pastor Sutton, you saw Pastor Sutton do that?
Mistaken identity. Shame on you, lying on the good pastor that way.
And so that's why I kind of was like, she knows. And she was like, I know all about him. I was like, that's a monster in more ways than one. Because
That
no,
man had Jesus on his back and the devil on his legs. You don't know nothing about
you
that man.
don't know nothing. The fact that he only got tattoos on his back, and then when he met his wife, he said, "You can tattoo my chest."
Right up front.
It's just amazing. He is phenomenal. He is just like what? How do you know it? On Sabrina the Teenage Witch, when the aunties in the pot and they made a man.
Yeah.
Mhm. All
But,
right,
oh
we
wait,
gotta wrap it up.
his tattoo is actually her on the back cover of their book.
Come on, marketing. What would be a key takeaway you want readers to have upon completing Jameer and Naima's story?
Looks can be deceiving.
Mm. On both parts.
On both parts. This book looks like, oh, it's going to be nice and happy and fluffy. And then it's like, wait,
Who thought that?
lots of people, baby. Lots of people.
Did they read the previous stories?
I don't know. I
Okay.
don't know. I just sit there and I'm just like, I'm glad you read it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Or people will be like, I don't understand this. I'm like, well, did you read the? Oh no, I didn't read any of those. I just read this one. I'm like,
And
well,
that's why it's a series and not an interconnected standalone. Because if you did not read what happened before, you will not understand. This is
it'll be something innocuous, like a joke that Jada made when she's talking about yet another redheaded, famous redhead that she's gonna quote. People are like, "Where's the other famous redhead?" And I'm like, "In another book."
I think the consortium. I have not read every series, but I've read the Orphan series. I've read the consortium series up until now, and I've read halfway through the baseball series. I've read.
The football series.
I mean, the football series, the Desperado series. Nick was so I need to go back and read the other series so I can figure out some missing little.
The consortium appears in the midst, but not until book 3. And
Okay.
then you hear about people from the consortium in the Real Nigga series because Midas Warren is the person in books 1 and 2 of the Real Nigga series. And he is first cousins with Xerxes. But Xerxes was mentioned all the way back in Fortunate, if I'm not mistaken.
See, I don't think when I was reading, I don't think my mind was thinking all of this was going to be the all one world.
I didn't either.
And according to you, neither did you. Because now I think my brain, when you say Malcolm is, I already didn't like Malcolm. And now knowing that he's Cardinal's son, I feel like, yeah, my girl, she needs a whole new man.
No.
First of all, y'all don't have to worry about money anymore. Nick made sure Evan was rich. You don't have to fight your sister for spending the rent money on coats anymore. So now you don't have to worry about money. Malcolm was a security blanket for a period of your life.
Yeah.
And that's just how I feel. But
y'all gonna get off Malcolm. That's all I'm gonna say.
where can our sister girls find you and follow you on these internet streets to keep up with all of these many people that we have mentioned? And if you had to tell people where to start, where would you start in the Dandridge Monroe backlog?
If you want paranormal, there's a paranormal series that is called Power Within the Stars, books 1 through 5, and then they jump into something else. If you want like pure romance, read Fortunate. If you want foolishness, start with the Consortium. If you want something that's just some rich people doing good, start with the Real Nigga series. And if you want some social justice issues that mirror what is going on in the world today, but these people's get back is second to none, read In the Midst.
You got a little bit of something for everybody.
It's how my brain works.
And where can our sister girls find you on these internet streets to follow up with all of these people?
Facebook. I have a Facebook group. It's called Dandridge's Den. Y'all can DM me. I mean, just DM me. That's what I tell everybody. Just if you have a question, y'all can message me. I'm always somewhere near a device. I got a 3-year-old. She's always bothering me for something. Mommy, pictures? No, baby. Okay, you're vain. Stop.
Get off of her. You supposed to get off of her.
Yeah, she's like, Mommy, I'm pretty. I said, yes, baby, you are. Yes, Carolyn, In the Midst is so good.
And okay, maybe I need to finish the Desperados because I heard Coach gets a girlfriend.
Ooh, Coach.
And now you saying that Billy got 4 kids. She didn't let that white boy that's not a white boy make her have 4 babies.
Yes, in the second Desperados book, you learn about how they get baby number 1 and then baby number 2. And then by book 4, they got 4. Or by book 5, they have 4. One or the other.
Is that series done? Are any of the series done? The series that are not series that are interconnected standalones?
I'm a huge football fan. That's never going to be done.
Oh, what's your team?
I don't have a team.
Good for you.
My husband is a huge Cowboys fan.
I'm in Philly. I am not a fan of. I'm not a fan of football. Period.
Girl, you near Jalen Hurts' little fine self. If I was not old enough to literally be his mama, I might.
He's engaged. He's not my type. He's not my type. He's cute. Like I can look at him and say he's cute, but he is not the kind of man that I would go for.
He has a smile. The smiles do me in. If y'all ever notice that one thing, everybody in my book has a good smile. You have
But
a good smile, and I'm
don't
like,
follow up with the hand. Lady is.
I'm a hush.
That man gonna come downstairs and tell you something about yourself.
He's fine. He knows how I am.
Y'all follow along for all of this more to come. And you plan on publishing how many more books before it's December 1st? You said 2 more books?
I'm doing 1 more this year. That'll be book number 10 for the year. 9, 10. One or the other. I don't remember. I lost count.
And you follow her on all these social pages. Thank you so much for kicking it with us for our final book chat of the year. This book was highly enjoyable. As you can see, I could probably talk about it for another hour, honestly, because it was so. I love me a good thick book. I am a thick book girly. Give me 500, 600, 700 pages.
Aww. I ain't doing that again, though. No.
Yeah, give me 500, 600, 700 pages. That's what makes me happy. But reading about Priest and getting his just due and his happy ending, even though it was not with me, still warmed my heart. And we look forward to more characters coming from this very interesting mind of yours.
They'll be calm, I promise.
See, you lying.
I am lying.
You're lying.
I am absolutely.
Anytime you got somebody like Jada involved, there will be no calm.
Y'all have not seen Valtair cut up. That's all. Well, I mean, y'all saw him cut up literally. He does more cutting up.
You just said that man put a woman on a plane
without light work. That baby got a sword.
More ways than one. And she done froze because she acted up. Good night, y'all. Please remember, Behind the Pen tickets are on sale on the Sistah Girls website. We look forward to seeing you in August. And make sure you stay around in the Facebook group because you know in December we do what? Giveaways. And you do not want to miss them. I will see you guys in January.